Hello, everyone. It is Taryn. How are you doing? It is Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are going live with Just Like You on IG Live. This is episode 6. I can't believe it. Thank you all again for all your support. Just Like You on IG Live, episode 6. So again, I hope you all are doing well. Hope you've had a great start to the week. Again, lots going on in our communities and in our world and in our nation. So I just want to thank everyone for joining in and viewing today and just sharing some positivity. We have a great guest today, so she'll be logging on here in a second. And I just want to again just thank everybody and acknowledge that we do have a lot going on in our world today. We have a lot going on in our nation today, and this is just a platform that I wanted to do to share with everyone and connect the positivity together. I think we all have amazing stories, and with that said, we all have amazing ways that we can connect each other. We all have amazing stories that should be heard, and we all have amazing stories that need to be heard. And so I think this is just a positive way for us to connect and for us to share those stories. So I just really appreciate everyone joining in and sharing their positivity. If you know someone who has an amazing story, you probably have one yourself, or you would like to be a guest as well, please make sure you DM me, and I am Taryn Lamp. That's my handle here on Instagram. And I'd love to have you, and I'd love to learn more about your story. And I'd love for others to learn about your story. So please make sure that if you have a story that you would like to share, or if you know someone who does have a story that they'd like to share, that you send them my way. We're doing just amazing with, as far as just like I said, connecting people, and we do this every Tuesday. And even if it would be just me, it would be just me sharing my story. So we do this every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, just sharing stories. And as most of you may know, for me, while we're waiting on a guest here, I am a heart disease survivor, and I'm a cancer survivor as well. And one of the things that I wanted to do is, I'm learning, is that when I started to share my story and connect with either other survivors or just other people, other men and women in general who just have those stories to tell, it was kind of like almost like a therapy for me to share my story. And it was almost just, like I said, I guess the best way to describe it is therapeutic. So it was something that I really enjoyed sharing my story. And I also realized that was my purpose. So that's what was really cool about it. I got a chance to kind of really get in my purpose. I've known my purpose for a long time, but I really got a chance to continue to share my story and continue to share my purpose through sharing my story. So that is something that I thought about for a long time. And I had the idea a long time ago that I was going to create a magazine, and it was going to be called Just Like You, Everyday People, Amazing Stories. Here's Crystal here, I'll have her in. And then as time progressed, now we're into social media. So here we are. Let me see if I can get Crystal in here. Let me see here. This is the, yeah. I should be able to get her to join here. And so let's see if she comes up. So that's my story, a little bit about my story. I can continue to share it, but we are here now. So this girl, you guys, we are going to need more than a half an hour for her because she's freaking amazing. She is my friend, but she is also my heart sister. And so, as I was telling you guys, I'm a heart disease survivor and cancer survivor. And Crystal is an amazing young woman that I've met years ago. And she actually helped me on the book. For those of you who have the book, One Hair, One Fun Ways to Be Heart Healthy, Crystal's actually in this book. But her story of just being a young woman with heart disease is amazing. I love her as my heart sister. If I could come through the phone and give her a hug, I would. So, Crystal, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you good.
I just want to thank you so much. I'm giving you a big heart hug.
Yeah, yeah.
As my heart sister, I just really appreciate all you do for our community of heart sisters and heart warriors. So I really appreciate that. I don't want to give too much into it, but I do just appreciate all you do. You guys, she's going to tell you her story and tell you what she does, and you guys are going to be like, whoa. So let's get started, Crystal. So we just have a half an hour here today. So the first 10 minutes, I just like to talk about your story. I just like for you, hello everybody, a lot of people are joining. I'd just like for you to spend that first 10 minutes or so just giving people a synopsis of your story, giving people a summary of your story and telling them what all you've been through. Go ahead.
Yeah. So hi everybody, my name is Crystal Flores. Basically, I was born with heart disease, which is known as congenital heart disease. And this type of heart disease is pretty much a birth defect. So congenital stands for present at birth, and that's why it's called congenital heart disease. And this causes abnormalities in the heart structures. So in my personal case, this affected the right side of my heart, and the right side of my heart did not develop. So I only have one ventricle. The right ventricle in my heart did not develop. I only have the left ventricle. So my disease is known as hypoplastic right heart syndrome. And as I explained, it's because the right side of my heart is it's not there, it's non-existent. Now the right ventricle is the one that's responsible for pumping blood to the lungs, and since I didn't have that, I needed to have a series of open heart surgeries to reconstruct the circulation in my heart. So there could be a way that my heart was able to pump blood to my lungs. And some people are not familiar with these surgeries, but some people that might watch this might be familiar, and they're called I had the BT shunt, the Glenn shunt, and then the Fontan. Now those are just pretty much they stitch tubes in your main arteries of the heart and connect it to the pulmonary artery, and that's how the blood is diverted towards the lungs. And that way I was able to get the blood that I needed to my lungs, and I was able to survive. Now when I was born in 87, there were very low chances of babies with heart disease to survive, and I had a lot of complications during my surgeries. One of them I had to do twice, one at age 4 and one at age 10, just because medical research wasn't advanced when I was 4 years old. And when finally at 14 it was way more advanced, and surgeries was way more advanced, and they were able to do what they needed to get my heart functioning to a state where I was able to be able to live. But even though I had all these complications, I'm still here now. I'm age 33, and I've had a lot of complications, and there's been a lot of uncertainty in my journey, where the doctor told my mom, well, since this surgery failed, I don't think that Crystal will live past age 5, because I had that surgery at age 4. So my mom didn't give up. She remained hopeful, and I walked out of the hospital pretty much like nothing happened to me after that surgery, and I lived till age 10 until I started having complications again. And that's when I had another open heart surgery. And so the doctors, they're not always right. As long as you remain hopeful and you have the will to live, nothing is impossible. That's just the state of mind that I've always had my entire life, and it's just how my mom raised me. My mom raised me to never give up. I just lost her in October, but everything that she taught me when she was alive, is come in handy navigating through my life. And now that she's not here, it's something new that I've been navigating myself. But everything I learned from her are tools that are going to keep helping me to fight this battle with heart disease
Right.
on my own now.
So you're, what, because like I said, I've known you for a while now, and what, we know that, your mom is your inner strength. We kind of talked about our moms being our advocates and our inner strength.
Our heart moms, yes.
Yeah. But what do you think, just, being, you were like me, we're young. We had this at such a young age. So what do you think have been some of your sources of strength to get through this? Because we're going to get into a second that, you've found strength to help yourself, but you've also found strength to help others. So what is that strength for you? What gives you that strength?
Well, I'm not gonna lie and sugarcoat that, having heart disease is it's all beautiful, and I'm with this big smile right here. It's not always like that. I have my bad days, and it's very challenging to live with heart disease, especially when you're born with it, because honestly, I have no idea of how it feels to be healthy. I have no clue. But as a child, as a teenager, I did have a hard time accepting my illness. I had a hard time. I had a lot of emotions, mainly negative, and I became very depressed. I isolated myself from everyone, even my mom, just everyone, because I felt like nobody understood what I was going through. I couldn't really relate to anybody. But as I got older, my mom, she really helped me in the way to see what was happening to me in a different perspective. She would tell me, Nona, that in life that, like life is like a jungle and only the strong will survive. Those were her exact words. So she's like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're sick or you're not sick, you're only going to survive if you're strong. So even healthy people, if they're not strong, they're not going to survive. So she gave me just this basic analogy that made it so simple for me to not just give up, to not give up no matter what.
Right.
No matter what's happening to me, that I still have to fight and not give up, no matter what I'm facing.
So that sounds like, because one of our next questions is, what 3 lessons have you learned? So not giving up sounds like it's one of your lessons. Are there 2 others that you have that you've learned from your journey? So
yes.
Giving up.
Not giving up, and also, so when she seems helped me see it this way, is when I decided to become a volunteer at the American Heart Association. And I said, well, okay, well, now that I see it this way, it really empowered me. And I said, wow, yeah, it does take a strong person to have to go through all of that and still be here standing today, alive, and be able to tell your story. So why not share my story of courage? My mom says, you're courageous, you're strong, like you motivate me to keep going. Everything that I see you go through, that gives me a lot of courage myself to face what I face in my own life. So I said, okay, so I'm gonna use this courage, this strength to empower others that are struggling also. And when I started volunteering for the American Heart Association is when really my the advocacy work that I'm doing now, which is, pretty much I come on Instagram and I share not only my story, but other people's testimonies to empower people like us.
Right.
Just like, I love the name of your show, Just Like You, because it's
Thank you.
People like us, people like you, people that are going through similar things, that no matter what you're going through, you can't give up. So empowerment, that's my second lesson.
Okay. Well, thank you. I mean, you definitely did that.
Courage, I guess, would be my third.
Yeah, encourage, empowerment, and that strength and motivation. So now, Crystal, we both know that there could be some people on here, and we definitely know people who are in our same positions, that were born with CHD, or maybe somebody who's actually going to be diagnosed with some type of heart disease, at some point. So what 3 lessons would you give them if they're kind of still in the struggle phase, or, going through those days where we feel like we're good and some days we feel like we're not so good? What 3 lessons would you share with someone else that, for them?
Well, the first I would say is to not feel bad or guilty that you have bad days. To not,
that's a good one.
As people, as humans, in our nature, we want to accomplish things. We want to get things done. But with our people like us that are ill, we struggle daily, and sometimes we can't really get anything done. some days are bad days, you know. So I would just say that to not feel guilty, and that it's okay to not be okay,
Mm-hmm.
to just have those bad days, rest, get through them, because not every tomorrow's a better day. It's gonna be
Right.
a better day.
It's okay to not be okay. And I think that's a very good lesson to share with somebody, because sometimes we just want every day to be,
We're hard on ourselves, because
yeah,
I used to be like that.
we just want every day to be
Give ourselves a break.
the
We
best.
can't. I mean, our bodies are going through so much
Right.
already. We're fighting to stay alive. Like, why not just lay in bed for one day, watch movies, eat anything, just treat yourself, pamper your nails, pamper yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. So I want to take the next probably 10 minutes or so, and I want the next one is what is, what does the future hold, and also incorporate in that what you're about to tell us of what you're doing now, because I think this is like, what you're doing for our community is amazing. So if you could share that, and if you could share, what the future holds for you and for your organization.
Well, you mean the future for like my battle with CHD, or my future with what I'm doing, my advocacy work?
Both. Both.
Oh, okay. Well, my doctors now, when I was age 23, I transitioned from pediatric CHD doctors, adult CHD doctors, and now they say that, my heart's stable,
Good.
that everything is I'm doing good. I'm one of their Fontan patients that is doing the best, and that for me, that's good. That means that I don't need a heart transplant right now, but eventually, as a single ventricle patient,
Mm-hmm.
the Fontan is really the last surgery that they have as a treatment for us. After that, those surgeries, they wear out, they don't last forever. And there might be a foreseeable heart transplant in the future for me, but I still remain hopeful. They told me I was going to need a heart transplant at age 25. I'm 33 and I still haven't had that transplant they supposedly told
Yes.
me. So, I leave it all up to God,
Yeah.
Whatever God lets me do, I'm more than happy to take it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
And for my advocacy work, so pretty much, I started my advocacy work with the American Heart Association, and I'm an award-winning spokesperson. They gave me an award in 2014 for spokesperson of the year, and with that, I was able to build this platform
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, which it's called CHD Hearts, and ever since then, I've worked with the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, where I go to visit the heart families there that are recovering from open heart surgeries. And, I sit there, I encourage them. And then after that, now I just pretty much advocate online. I'm just like working with different journalists and different CHD
Mm-hmm.
websites, and just having a lot of publications, letting them use my voice to advocate for CHD online. And because right now everyone's at home, so
Right.
everyone's reading everything online. So why not advocate for CHD online, where everybody's reading right now?
Right. And tell us, oh, go ahead. You were about to say something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the last thing I'm doing is, I sew heart pillows, where pretty
Yes.
much they're
Yes.
compression pillows. I hand sew them myself. They're heart shaped and they're compression pillows. So, after open heart surgery, it's very painful.
Yes.
Your chest hurts, to move and cough and sneeze. So these compression pillows are, you hug them, and they're supposed to support your sternum if you cough or sneeze, to reduce the pain. I've used it myself when I had my open heart surgery, and they really help a lot. And that's where that idea came from. And now I donate them to my local hospitals around the US and
Mm-hmm.
Canada. And I'm planning to do international soon. So, I'm just trying to, make this a type of way where I can just encourage CHD warriors and CHD families worldwide, pretty much.
Right. And I think you are. I think that you are. Tell us about maybe some of those experiences where you've gotten the chance to meet with other heart warriors, and just the impact that maybe that's had on you as well, because I know you meet with the heart warriors, but you also meet with their families, and you share your stories with their parents and help them kind of understand and navigate through that. So maybe tell us about an experience with meeting with one of our, should I say, heart warriors.
Sure. Sure. Well, when I was working with Children's Hospital Los Angeles as their heart ambassador, I would personally go into the not the ICU, but the recovery rooms where you're able to go in there and sit with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I would introduce myself and tell them that I'm getting emotional because when I would step in that hospital, it would bring me back on my own personal
Mm-hmm.
battle that I went through in that hospital. I was also a patient there myself, so it's a very emotional, to be honest, to be there with those families and seeing
Right.
their child on the bed, because I not only feel what they're going through, but I can see myself in the child on the bed
Mm-hmm.
fighting for their life, because I've been through what they're going
Oh.
through personally on a personal level. So when
Mm-hmm.
I introduce myself to them and I let them know, hey, I went through this. Look, I show them my scar. I had many surgeries like your child. A lot of them are scared. A lot of them are new to this. They don't know what to expect. They don't know what's going to happen, if their children are going to live or
Mm-hmm.
not live. It's very hard for them to even accept that the child's going through this, and that they can't do anything to make it better. But that's where I come in,
Right.
and I tell them, look, it's okay if this is happening to them. That's
Mm-hmm.
fine. It's not a bad thing. Just look at me. Look at my scar, and just I want everything that they went through. If not even exactly the same thing. I've been on life support. I've had cardiac arrest. I've been through
Mm-hmm.
all that. I've been through all the complications, but I'm still here. You just have to remain hopeful. That's really
Mm-hmm.
that's my 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 message. Giving hope one heart at a time. Because that's really what I'm doing. I'm there just
Yeah.
giving them hope. Stay hopeful, remain hopeful, because the doctors is not a one all and all. They're
Right.
they're not, so just anything is possible. Just
I think
you know,
you're
yeah,
helping you're helping again, just if you will, bring them into the community. It's so good that you're sharing, your story, and you're sharing stories of other CH warriors, because sometimes, and I don't know if you felt like this, times we get in those ways where we feel like we're the only one, you know
exactly. Yeah, and I also like to add that after I talk to the parents, I take the
Mhm.
pillow I take a pillow for the child, and I go sit right next to my little heart. I call him my little heart brother, or
Mhm.
my heart brother, my heart sister. I go sit next to them, and what I do is, first I say hi. I say, I'm Crystal. I'm your heart sister, like, because they understand that. So, and then I go like this. I'm like, you see this? I went
Mhm.
exactly to what you're going through on this bed right here. And the doctors, everything you're seeing, I saw that, and I went through that, and they
Mhm.
just look at me, like, observing me. So, for me, when I was a child, if I would have had somebody that would have come to talk to me and told me
Mhm.
and show me their scar and said, hey, you're not the only one. Look, I went through this. I have the same
Right.
scar as you. That would have it would have had a positive impact on my
Right.
life, because I grew up thinking that I was the only one. I met another person with heart disease until I was 26 years old. That's recent. I'm only 33. That's only
Mhm.
like 8 years ago, something like that.
Mhm.
So it was very isolating for me growing up, because I didn't know anybody with
Right.
heart disease. No one could relate to me, and I could relate to no one.
And I
So when
I think that
when I talk to them,
you
it's like
and
I
your
get support too.
go ahead.
When I talk to them, I get support too
Yeah. Yeah. I
at
think
the
that
same time.
you
I get
and them,
closure that I never had.
right. It gives you confidence. It gives you compassion. It gives you, going both ways, right? It's going back and forth. You're giving some confidence, and you're also. I was saying at the beginning of the show here that it's almost like when I share my story now, it's therapeutic for me. Before I was the same way. I was isolating. I didn't want people to know. Both of
You
us
know,
have, yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because on my advocacy page, CHD Hearts, I really encourage the CHD community to do that, to share their stories, because I really believe that by sharing your
Mhm.
story, it helps you heal. It
Right.
really does, and I'm saying this because it's helped me heal. It's helped me
Right.
heal so much, and it's changed my life in my quality of life. I don't get depressed like I used to. I used to suffer from depression really bad, and I've overcome that by sharing my story, by
Mhm.
being able to relate to other people, and you know being able to sit with them and share with them. It's the same struggles and lift each other up. It's helped me and helped me get out of that depression, honestly.
Well, you have definitely been an inspiration to me. You've been an inspiration to the heart families that you touch. I know you're going to continue inspiration, like you said, internationally. And I just, I was, we started to applaud you and love you as a heart sister. And
Yeah.
I, one day we're going to give each other a big hug one day and
Yeah, hopefully we
bring
can meet in person.
and bring this full circle. What is we have? Let's see. We have about 4 more minutes, I guess, for one final comment to our viewers. Who, like I said, we could have people on here that have CHD, that don't have CHD, that are curious about it. What's one final comment you would leave our viewers?
That if you are not aware about CHD, that I would really
Good,
recommend
good one.
to educate yourself about CHD, because being CHD aware can save. Well, if CHD awareness saves lives, my mom didn't know about CHD when I was born, before, even after. It took 3 months for my mom to find out that I had CHD, and if it wasn't because she noticed that I was having a hard time breathing, and I
Mm-hmm.
was getting blue, she took me to the doctor because of that. If it wasn't because of that, I would have died. But because she took me and was able to, get that diagnosis of me, she was able to save my life. She became CHD aware.
Mm-hmm.
And so I highly suggest just to that CHD can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter. And being CHD aware saves lives, to just be CHD aware, pretty
So,
much.
so we kind of got a question here. That is, what's the difference between my CHD and your CHD? So basically, you've kind of explained yours as missing a right ventricle, correct? That would be your. And for me, I was born with both my, right ventricle and left ventricle, but I had a hole in the area of my heart that takes your heart to go boom, boom. So it wasn't working. So
Between the chambers.
right. So it wasn't connecting. So the question, it was, I had a different type of CHD because I had a hole in between that didn't allow my heart to beat. Whereas Crystal has no right ventricle. So that
I
didn't
have a single ventricle.
right. So I guess that's a good point. Everybody that has CHD, we can have a lot of things, right? We all don't have the same CHD that we're born with. We can have a lot of different variations of mine and yours. As you and I both know, we've came across people who have different things. Your heart is such an amazing muscle, but it at the same time
It really is.
it can go so many ways right and so many ways wrong, I guess. Or not. I shouldn't say wrong. We don't have wrong hearts. We just
I mean, I really believe that, yeah, having heart disease does weaken the heart,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, you can strengthen your heart at the same time by, just like with your books, how you encourage people to be active and do exercise,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a muscle, and that's what personal trainers do. Bodybuilders, they tear down their muscles, they
Yep.
work out their muscles to tear them down so they could build bigger fast afterwards. And the muscle's the same, the heart is the same, it's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
It'll come back stronger, even though it's teared down so many times, right?
Yeah, we're going to keep fighting. We are at our time, Crystal. We're definitely going to bring you back. We are definitely going to bring back for another round of this. And
Okay,
I send
sure.
you always much love. I
Yes, our sister.
love you to death. I love
Love you too.
and thank you so much. I will be in contact with you soon. So
Okay,
be well.
love you. Take
Be
care.
well.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Be well.